Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashok. This video is the fifth and last part of LWC Live Project Build Your Own Retro Board, where I already have created 4 videos, and in previous video we have covered these points. So there first we have created board details LWC component, and after that we have created an apex method to get board sections and their items data, and then we have called that apex method in board details component and bind sections on UI with heading and add button, and also added that component on record page, and at last worked on add button to save new item into database, and also added in sections JavaScript object. Okay, so these all points we have covered in previous video, and if you have not watched previous videos or any other video of this series till now, then please take link from description and start from first video. Okay, and now let's have a look on agenda that we will cover today in this video. So today first of all we will work on HTML part to iterate and show all the added section items, and then we will work on update description or comment in database, and at last we will work on like and delete button. Okay, so these all points we will cover today in this video. And now let's quickly start with first point to iterate and show all the added section items. And before that, first let's open demo implementation and have a closer look on items so we can also create similar UI. Alright, now we are in demo implementation, and here if you can see with items, we have a box which contains mainly 4 things. First is this multi-line text box, so user can write their query or suggestions, and whenever user will come out of the box, then data will get saved into database. And second, we can see this like button icon, so once user will click on this, then like count will increase by 1, and third we have this like count, and at last we have to show a delete button. So whenever user will click on this, then item will delete from UI and database both. Okay, and this strip background color is also coming dynamically. So you can see here with each section, it is coming almost different. So to handle this background color, we will create a method in boards component that will give us a random background color while saving boards data, and we will save that value in board sections object in items background theme field. And while rendering these items, we will bind that theme or background color here. Okay, so now I think we are clear that what we need to build. So let's open our VS Code and start writing HTML markup for this. Okay, so again we have added new lightning layout with multiple rows attribute, and also added template tag with for each directive, and provided section.board section items are property, because this is the property which contains our all the section items. So using this for each directive, we are iterating each item, and under this template tag, we have added this lightning layout with key and size attribute, and provided 12 edge value in size attribute, because we want to show this layout item in whole section area. Okay, and now under this item, first we want to show multi-line text box, so added text area and assign description field value into this. And to show that bottom strip, we have created another lightning layout because we want to break that strip into 2 parts to show like button in left side and delete button in right side. So to break that strip into 2 parts, we have added 2 layout items, each with 6 size. And here in first one, we have added button icon for like and also showing like count here. And in second layout item, we are showing delete button icon. Okay, so this is how we have built basic HTML markup. Now let's deploy this component and see how it looks like. Alright, now we can see one section item here, but if we compare this item design with our demo implementation, then this is very different. Like in our new implementation, this item box is not coming in full width and we can't see any border around, and also we don't have any background in footer strip, right? So now to make it similar to demo one, we need to add CSS on our basic HTML markup. And before getting started work on this style part, let's click on this new button icon and see what happens. Okay, I have clicked on this, but nothing is happening here on UI. I mean, new item is not visible on UI, but if we refresh this page, then we can see two items here, right? So it means our data getting saved into database, but UI is not refreshing automatically with new data. And why this is happening? So the reason behind this is our sections property is not reactive property, and reactive property means whenever anything gets changed in property, then it will automatically update and render changes on UI without any manual refresh. So now the question is how we can make property reactive in LWC. Then we can say using track decorator. I mean, if we want to make any property as reactive in LWC, then we have to add track decorator with that property. And now here we have one more question, like do we need to add track decorator with every data type? Then answer will be no. All the primitive data types like integer, boolean, string are by default reactive. So with the primitive data types, track decorator is not required. But if we talk about non-primitive data types like array or object, then they are not reactive by default. So to make them reactive, we need to add track decorator with them. And now if we see our sections property data type, then we have that array. So it means we have to add track decorator externally to make it reactive. Okay, so this is how we can make any non-primitive property to reactive. And now our items will render on the UI without manual refresh. Okay, and now let's start work on design changes to make that section item look and feel better. Okay, so what I've done here, first of all, we have created new CSS class board section item to show border around the item. And why we have created this custom CSS class? Because we don't have any SLDS class to show border around. I mean, there we can find classes to show border in left, top, right and bottom. But if you want to show border around with single CSS class, then any out of box class is not available there. So that's why we have defined our custom class and added that class with layout item. Okay, and also to show margin in bottom side, we have added this SLDS margin bottom class. And on this text area also, we have added our one more custom CSS class, because here we have unique requirement that is also cannot be fulfilled by any out of box class. So we have created this new CSS class and added these properties. Okay, and here also added text right align class to show delete button in right side. And at last, if we talk about that strip background color, then as we have discussed in our section object, we have a field item background theme. So we have added this property here with class attribute. It means whatever value we will have in this field, that will be added as a class on this lightning layout, right? But still we are not saving any value in this field when we create new board. So now let's work on board component to save random theme with sections when we create new board. So this is the method which we are using to save board and board sections data. And as of now, if you can see here with sections, we are only adding name as of now. So here let's add items background theme field as well. Okay, so we have added this property here, but now if we talk about value, like what kind of value we will save in this, then here we will pass random lightning theme to show background color, and those theme names you can get from SLDS website. So let's find themes name on SLDS website. Okay, so from here you can get all the background color out of box CSS classes which are provided by SLDS, like SLDS default theme, SLDS theme shade, and many others are here. So you can take these classes to show background color in your elements. Okay, and for now I have already copied few of these in my notepad. So let's copy from there and assign in array. Okay, so now we have all the classes name in this themes array, and now to get random theme out of these, let's take code from Google, and here let's find get random values from array in JavaScript and open any link, and let's copy this code and use in our component. And also let's put this code in separate method and call that method here. Okay, so this is how we have all the CSS classes in this themes array, and using this code we will get random out of these. And now let's call this method over here. Okay, so we have called this method here and also added one more CSS class to show some padding in strip. So now these two classes will save in themes field. Okay, so this is how we can get random value from array and use wherever we want. And I think in this field name we have incorrect spelling of background. I mean N was missing there, so let's remove from here as well and deploy again. Okay, so we have deployed both components, and now to test it further, let's create new board so we can get that random theme as well. Okay, new board has been created. Now let's click on add button. Alright, now we can see almost similar UI as we have in demo implementation. Like here we can see border around this item, and this text box is also coming in full size, and at last we can see background also with this footer strip. Okay, and our add button is also working now. I mean new item is added on UI as well automatically, so it means as of now we are good. And now as a next step, let's work to update this description field value in database when user change it. And as of now, when user will enter anything and refresh the browser window, then text will be removed automatically. For example, I have entered test here. Now let's refresh this browser window. Okay, that text has been removed because we have not saved that into database. So now let's open our VS Code again and work on that. And now here first we need to know the trigger point. I mean we need to identify on which event we want to save this field value. So as we have discussed, we want to save value when user change it. But here with text box or text area, we have many events those will fire when user change the value, like key up, change, and blur. So key up will fire when user release any pressed key, and change will fire when user will change the value. So here you might be thinking that without pressing any key, how we can change the value in text box, right? But there is a way. Sometimes browsers show us some auto suggestions, and with the help of mouse we can select them, right? So change will fire whenever value gets changed in text box, and blur event is different from both of these, and it will fire whenever user will try to leave the text box or try to come out of text box, whether value has changed or not. So now it's depend on you which event you want to use here, but I will go with blur because those events will fire for each character change. I mean, if you'll enter 50 characters in text box or text area, then those events will fire 50 times, and our code will try to send 50 requests to the server to save the data simultaneously. So in case of text box or text area, key up and change are not good choice, and blur will trigger only once. So let's start work with blur. Okay, so we have registered onBlur listener with text area and assigned this handler method, and also created this handler method in JavaScript file. Now whenever user will come out of this text area, then this handler method will get called. And now here we can write our code to save data into database. And as we have discussed in past videos, wherever possible, we should try to use out-of-box features in Salesforce. So to update data in database from JavaScript, let's use update record method of Lightning UI record API module. Okay, so first of all we have imported this update record method from Lightning UI record API module, and we have added this section item ID with text area as data attribute, and get it in handler method using dataset property, and also get this text area value in this item description variable, and assign those variables in this fields constant in ID and description property. And here why we are passing this item ID, because as we have discussed, we only want to update description field. Then why we are passing this ID? Because if you want to update any field in record, then record ID is mandatory field, else how Salesforce will know in which record we want to update this field, right? So that's why we have added item ID as data attribute and passed into ID property, and finally called this update record method using await, and also passed fields as object, and whatever fields we want to update that we can pass from here. But as of now we only want to update description, so let's quickly deploy and test it. Now here let's enter something in this text box and refresh browser window again. Okay, now we can see that text auto populated. It means data saved successfully in database. Alright, now let's work on this like and delete button, and here once we'll click on like button, then like count value will increase by 1 and automatically update on UI as well. And once we'll click on delete button, then this item should be deleted from here and database both. Okay, so now let's open VS Code again and first start work on delete button. Okay, so first we have added onClick listener on delete button and defined this handler method, and also created this handler method in JS file. And here to get deletable section item ID, we have added data attribute on button, and using dataset property get that item ID here. And then we have imported this delete record method from Lightning record UI API module and called this delete record method here using await and passed deletable item ID. Now this method will automatically identify from which object and which record should be deleted and delete that record from database. Okay. And now to remove that item from UI, here we have two ways. Either we can use out-of-box refresh apex method or write our custom logic to identify and remove that item from sections array. As like we have added new item in this add handler. Similarly, we can also write logics to remove item. But if you don't want to write your custom logics and want to use any simplest way, then you can call apex method again to get all the available data, and due to reactive nature, all the available items will automatically bind on UI. But here we are using wire decorator to call apex method, so we can't directly code this method on delete by ourselves. Like as we have discussed earlier, like wire method can automatically get called by framework or whenever parameters value get changed. But in case if you don't want to update parameter value and still want to call method again to get new data, then we can use refresh apex method. So by using refresh apex method in LWC, we can update wire function or wire property data. I mean, it will internally recall apex method and give us new data. Okay. So let's use refresh apex method here to get data again after item delete. Okay, so first we have imported this refresh apex method from Salesforce apex module, and after that we have created a new property wired result and stored result of this wired method. I mean whatever response we got from wire, and that we have stored in this wired result property. And here after deleting item from database, we have called this refresh apex method and passed this wired result as parameter. Now what it will do, it will get new data from our apex method and call this wired method again, and here again we will get all the available data and assign those data into this sections property, and after that our UI will automatically get refreshed and bind all the available items. Okay, now let's work on like button as well. Okay, so here on like button, we have added on click listener and assigned handler method and created that method here. And also we have added section item ID and section ID as data attribute and read those IDs here. Okay, and here on line number 51, we are getting section item row from sections object. And here what we are doing, so first of all we are finding section record using find method, and after that we are trying to find section item using again find method, because in our section row we have board section items property which contains our all the available items under section. So this is how using this code we are getting section item, and on line number 52 we are getting existing light count from section item row and somehow it will be null. Then we are assigning 0 and at last we are adding 1. So whatever value will be there, we are adding 1 into that. And again using update record method, we are updating like count in database And now to update those on UI, again we have two ways. Either we can update that like count property in JavaScript object, or we can also use that refresh apex method. But now I will go with first approach, like I will update the value in JavaScript object. So let me write code here to update the value in JavaScript object. That's it. We just need to write this code. Now value will automatically get refreshed on UI. Why? Because we have made this property reactive using track decorator. And as we have discussed, in reactive property, if we made any changes from JavaScript, then those changes will automatically refresh on UI. Okay. So this is how we are done with the code of like and delete button. Now let's quickly deploy this component and test it. Now here first let's click on like button. Alright, now you can see 1 here. Now let me click again. Okay, now you can see 2 here. It means our like button functionality is working fine. And now let's click on delete button. Alright, item has been deleted from UI. And now let's refresh this browser window. Here we have only one item. It means item has been deleted from database as well. Okay, so now I think we have implemented this project completely, and I would request you to try this by yourself. And if you are getting any kind of issues, then you can take my code from GitHub and take reference from there. And if still you are not able to solve that issue, then you can directly connect with me over mail, and mail ID you can find from description. Okay, and I hope this live project helped you to learn many new things in LWC. If yes, then please help me too by clicking on like and subscribe button, and also share your feedback in comments. That will really help and motivate me to create more content like this. Once again, thank you so much. I will see you in next video.